Okay, here we go. Yeah, you guys tell me about this. Yeah, it's basically it's good to let everybody know that we're all Democrats. We're non-communist Democrats. Um, Facts over fiction. In other words, we don't like people coming out and just making stuff up. Uh, a free press, which we don't have now. We currently are in the throes of a property and press cycle, which means they only report what the communist masters dictate. Right? They're controlled by one faction. Right? So you'll see the same thing on every single channel, and it's the same words coming out and out and out. It's like Pravda, right? You only say what the state tells you to say. And they created the state media. That's what we're in right now. And the one thing they can't stand up to is factual debate. So they challenged me. I never debate in generalities, and got onto some of the Twitter accounts. Thank you very much. And I hope you all changed your passwords after you gave it to me, so I can't go back on there again. To basically logically debate society as it is. So we went on there. They were talking about Trump and what happened in Washington, D.C. was a travesty for the country. We all know that. But we also know that a good number of those were fire starters that worked for us being Democrats, or the ones that you guys talk about, the Soros Group, Nike Coalition. These were paid fire starters to go into that crowd and spark them. It works in every crowd. It's been working with Antifa, works with BLM. They go in. I think they did bust one, but hasn't happened. But logical debates. So the first thing we did was when they put out there talking about the illogical, there's talking about how heinous it was for this riot to take place in Washington, D.C. And I'm like, hey, wait a second, we're just as guilty. So I put this fact out there and was like, okay, so right now we have a great number of Antifas, people, BLM followers, and they're all cheering on these protesters. And I said, okay, we stand and cheer when people are robbing, raping, and murdering our fellow citizens in these cities and towns. We're standing up and cheering for them. And aside from everything else that's going on, and this is all in the name of us creating a new government, a democratic socialist government, which is what they're working towards right now. And I said, this happened before. In 1933, we had people that were getting robbed and beaten, murdered, raped, having their property stolen, their businesses destroyed, and the police did nothing out of fear, which is what has happened with these, and the protesters did whatever they wanted to do, and there was no consequences for it. And the government eventually changed over to this. So you were repeating, and the good thing about this is understanding that a great number of people in this project are Jewish. And if you go on to the Facebook page, you'll see this one story, and I think it's under the Real poll, where an elderly Jewish woman was riding along with one of the people in the project, and or talked to her. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she said the last time she saw this was when her family was thrown out of their business. Her uncle and father and cousins or whatever were beaten and tossed into the street and had their property stolen, and saying, give us your property that belongs to us. And they were, calling up the Jews. They were Germans, Nazis were going to take the property of the Jews, saying it's ours. They didn't earn it, right? They just said it's ours because we are the anti whatever. I think that time they were running as anti-communist. I'm not 100% sure, but it was a national socialist movement, which is where we're in. We're in a national socialist movement and doing the same things the Nazis did. And we have people standing and cheering on the streets for people murdering, raping, robbing, destroying our cities. So when I put that out there, I said, now, tell me, what's wrong with this? How can you defeat the logic? Because logically, you're doing the same thing, you're repeating the past. And, yeah, I kept getting blocked over and over and over again. I would just put out a tweet to these people, direct tweet, or in their feeds, and I'm just getting blocked all over the place. I did the same thing with a couple of them over Black Lives Matter, right? When I'm saying, okay, when you say you're black, you disavow the rest of your heritage. And nobody could ever answer it because it's factual. It's a fact. It's not, right? When you say that to any person, even a white person, if you're not white, you're just like the rest of us. But when you label yourself, you disavow the rest of you, and that makes you a racist. And because whoever's doing this, I mean, there's at different times, there's different people doing it. Sometimes it's a black Jew. Sometimes it's not a black Jew. Sometimes it's a white Jew, right? I'm using the racial terminology so you can understand that. Sometimes it's a woman, but all of them, and not all of them, but a good number of them have gone onto the account at different times and gone into these and seen them, and we've done these videos. But if you start using facts and you don't allow because when you got it when you give somebody a racist that you see, which is pretty much everybody who's not us in the Democratic Party, they can't stand up to a factual debate. You'll see on CNN, right? You showed me MSNBC, any of them. They can't stand up to a factual debate. That's why the debates now are so scripted. They don't want the facts. Factual debates. Right, correct. The last one we were talking about was the video about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. It's been documented throughout the last 30 years or more. The cell phones, they don't want you to have cell phones or radar detectors because the electromagnetic fields could cause cancer. And they have, rock solid proof they do. Suddenly, when Apple and iPhones and the phone business blew up, that went away. You still have ELFs. You still have hundreds of kids, but now he wants to put us into cars, everybody into electric cars, which radiate just a humongous electromagnetic field. So when I ask some of these people that are environmentalists about it, they, put it out there to them. They blocked us. You don't want to talk about it. It's the old, do as I say, not as I do, and don't never question me. That's the Providian press, right? We will say A, B, and C with no chance for anybody to come back at you, right? Now, she showed me the Chris Cuomo thing. He is the worst. He just cannot debate. He cannot stand up in a debate. If he starts yelling and starts saying, well, what about, the old, we did that in the book, and I think on a couple of his, look at this hand. Don't talk about what over here. Don't look at this. See this rock in my hand? We're not talking about this rock that you can see that I have proof. It's a fact. It's a rock in my hand. So look over here. There might be something else over there to look at. Don't look at the actual fact. Look over here. Right? Yeah, it's the Providian press. Yeah. They want to make sure that, I came up with a Providian press. Yes, that was my contribution to this. But once you start saying things and you put facts into it, your Democratic people will just block you. You do it to Republicans, and they'll just, oh my gosh, I hate to say this, but they agree. And it's not that they agree. When I even applied the logic to the Trump thing, I said, look, I said, logically, if you're going there to protest, you do not enter the building, because then you are attacking a government building. And I've had a couple say, well, this happened someplace else. And I said, you're doing the same thing. I'm just saying, well, this happened in Portland or wherever it happened. So you're saying what they did was wrong, so we can do it and it's wrong. You know, they're wrong. You're using their wrong to justify your wrong. That's not factual. You can't do that. You say, oh, but just because they did it, we did it. You know, it's, yeah, that's the inference. And the one that got me blocked the fastest was the one I said that Democrats standing up for BLM and Antifa are like cheerleaders standing on the side during a gang rape. And oh my gosh, yeah, exactly. Okay, but yeah, use facts. You know, put facts out there. You'll get blocked by a whole bunch of people. But what the hell? Somebody's going to read it. We've been blocked 385 times so far from everybody. Lots of Antifa people blocked us because they cannot stand up to the factual debate when you compare Antifa to the Nazi Party, because they're exactly the same. No difference. BLM, Nazi Party, exactly the same. Yeah, exactly the same tactics. The Pravdian press, same thing that happened in Russia, right? Same thing that happened in Nazi Germany when they took over the press there. You know, must report. And it's not that. And the thing about it is, the Nazis feared what would happen to them when they came and took over their press. Russia, they feared the press. I don't think there really was much press in China at the time. Free press, that is. The ones we got now, they're not doing this Pravdian press cycle out of any pressure. They're doing it because that's what they believe in. They believe in a single voice government, right? They believe in a communist style government. They are communist. Simple as that. Yeah, I mean, the CNN, our people at CNN, these are communist. NBC, MSNBC, they're communist. Because only a communist would work with a Pravdian style press. It's exactly what it is. So there's no debate. But I know some Republicans will hear this, and you can do the same thing, Republicans. You want to, but I don't know if you know any Democrats. But if you want to go out there and shut them up when they're putting out stupid stuff, go out there, throw facts at them, and then they'll block you. But at least you'll get some shots in, right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, this project is kind of a. Actually, it is. It's like a roadmap for Republicans to, end your idiotic way you've been doing business, and maybe you'll get some non-coms to come over, right? Non-communist Democrats. We're looking for someplace because our party's gone, right? The Democratic Party's gone. We need non-coms now. All righty. All right. Thanks, guys.